Hello, everyone. How are y'all doing today? How's been your night so far? Cool. Ready for the last session of the day? Well, ready or not, here we are. My name is Volmer. I'm a developer on the checkout team in Montreal.
My name is Rita. I'm also a developer on the checkout team in Montreal.
And we're here today to cover post-order opportunities. Thanks, Rita. And by post-order, for the sake of this talk, I mean the process that starts when a customer places an order until they get their package delivered, or even after that. And so for this talk, today we're going to cover some new things we're releasing on the post-order land, such as the order status page, fulfillment events, and the checkout JavaScript API. And I'd like to start with a few interesting numbers about post-order. These are numbers from the CMO magazine and UPS. The first number is this is e-commerce in general in the internet, not only on Shopify stores, of course. But the first number is really interesting, is that 40% of customers in general on commerce are not satisfied with their ability to track their package after a purchase. So this might be caused because maybe stores don't send the tracking number, or sometimes when they do, they don't send information about the shipping carrier, so customers don't know exactly what to do with that information, or other times only because the carrier doesn't really release any information about the status of the shipment. The second interesting information is when you compare how likely our existing customers are to place a new order in comparison to new customers. So this is 65% of existing customers and just 13% of new customers. So this is pretty much about customer retention, right? And when you look at these numbers, we really believe that if we can provide a better post-purchase experience to customers, in the end, this will reflect on customers coming back, becoming existing ones, and placing new orders, and bringing more orders to merchants. And the third one is even more interesting, is that 30% of customers would recommend a brand or a store based only on their ability to track their delivery. Only with that. I mean, if you can just tell them the exact information clearly, they would be more satisfied and would recommend an online store, so they would more likely to make new purchases. So these were the motivations behind the new things we're announcing today and that we make available in the last few months. In fact, if we compare our page views of the old order status page and the new one, we saw on Shopify 93% increase on page views. 93%. This is really great, and we're really exciting to show you what you did and the new resources we're making available, and that we believe that you do even better with new apps. So I'd like to invite my colleague Rita to talk a little bit more about this.
Okay, thank you, Volmer. So to give a little bit of context on the new opportunities we're making available to partners, I'd like to show everybody what the last step of our checkout process looked like before we revamped it in November last year. So this is pretty much what the customer would see at the last step of their checkout process. So as you can see, they're provided a confirmation that their order has been accepted. There's a thank you message, and they're given information such as their shipping address that they've entered, billing address, payment method, as well as the items they bought. And this is all really useful information, but we feel like we could do more with this page and engage the customer a little bit more. So now this is what the new order status page looks like after we revamped it last November. So as you can see, in addition to the existing information like shipping address, billing address, the items they bought, there's also a map on the page that shows the customer the status of their order. And so this will give customers a full view into where their package is and what's happening to it. And what this can do is reduce support costs for the merchant, because now when the customer wants to know exactly what's happening to their order, they don't have to email the merchant. They can just come to this page and see pretty much real-time updates. And this will add to customer satisfaction, because now they don't have to wait for an update on their order. As it's happening, they could just see it on this page. So the order status page is not only a replacement for a thank you page, it actually changes the whole checkout flow, because before, with the confirmation message, customers would see it once and not come back to it. Now customers will come back to the page repeatedly, so to get information on their order. So this provides a new opportunity for us to engage with them after they've made their purchase. So with our mobile-first mindset, we've made sure that the page looks great on mobile. So you can see that the complete information is available with all your order summary and order number and things like that, but adapted to a layout that's better for smaller screen sizes. So we realized that customers are excited about what they buy, and sometimes they want to share that on social media. So for example, maybe Walmart bought something that he really loved from a Shopify store, and he wants to copy and paste the link to his checkout so that he can show all his friends the items he bought. We really want to encourage customers to do that and to do it safely. So we've come up with a way to allow them to share the products they bought and share their enthusiasm without revealing personal information. So this is what the order status page would look like if anybody but the customer tries to access it. So basically anybody that does not have the correct cookie. You can see that the information that's still visible are the items, how much they bought it for, but all the really sensitive personal information like billing address, shipping address, and the map also would be obscured so that the customer's sensitive information is not given to the public. And what's new about this page is that there's also a reorder link right under the login, so that once the public accesses this page and they also want the items that your customer has bought, they can very easily just click on that link and create a brand new checkout with the exact same items. So customers can access the full information on this page by providing information that only they would have, like the email that they use to complete their order and the order number, which they can, if they don't remember it, they can just go back to their inbox, look at their order confirmation email, and have access to that information. And again, this is what it looks like on mobile, so you can see it's the same information, but on a layout that's more adapted to a different screen size. So we've integrated our order status page with our email notifications. On the order confirmation email, which this is an example of, there will be a link that the customer can click on with a token that will log them into the full order status page, so that every time they access it from that link, they won't see the login page. They'll be able to see all of their information. And yeah, that's done with a token in the URL. So the order status page link is on the order confirmation email, as well as the shipping update email. So now I'd like to go into a little bit about the new resources that we've introduced to make the order status page possible. So we've introduced fulfillment events, which looks like to the customer. So this entire card with the map and the status is the representation of information from the fulfillment event resource. So it exposes to the customer overall status of the fulfillment, a map of event locations, so then they can see, let's say, where their package is supposed to be shipped to on the red dot, where it currently is right now. And with a fully supported carrier, in addition to a link to a carrier's website and the tracking number, the map will also just show up automatically. Different statuses will be displayed for multiple fulfillments too. So yeah, it's definitely possible to have more than just one fulfillment for an order, and the customer can keep track of all of that on the same page. On each status, there's relevant, helpful links for the customer. Like, for example, this is a, okay, so I guess it's not shown up here, but for example, on the out for delivery status, there is a contact us link in case the customer doesn't receive their package by the estimated delivery time. So they can go ask the merchant what's happening to their package, or on the delivered status card, there is a reorder button, so then the customer can very quickly and easily create another checkout with the exact same items should they need all of them again. So to go into a little bit about how the news resource fits into the existing ones. So I guess just a little bit of a recap. In each order, you can have fulfillments, which is an already existing resource. You can have multiples of them. Like a use case for that would be if you wanted to ship, let's say, each item in your order separately, and you want to enter a different tracking number with a different carrier for each one of them, you would have separate fulfillments. And then under each fulfillment, you would have one or multiple fulfillment events. So to interact with this new resource, we've introduced the Fulfillment Events API, which lets you play with fields like these up here. So I just wanted to quickly go through a couple of them to tell you about what they can do. Status is, well, it's the status of the fulfillment event, and right now there is a set of values that you can input, so things like confirmed, in transit, out for delivery, delivered. Message is an arbitrary string describing the event, so you can use that to give more information in addition to the status. Happened at is the date, or the date and time at which your event occurred. And actually happened at shows up in the timeline of your order status page, just right above the map. Estimated delivery date, again, if that's applicable to your package, it'll show the customer when they can expect their package to arrive. And address is actually a combination of multiple fields that I've just kind of condensed into one. And you can input things like street address, postal code, province, country, and also longitude and latitude coordinates so that you can plot your fulfillment event on a nice map on the page. So what we've done with these new fulfillment events is we've automatically integrated package tracking for major carriers such as USPS, and also local delivery options such as UberRush. And UberRush is actually a really interesting example of how Shopify is pretty much using fulfillment events. So a couple of months ago, back in December, merchants in a few major cities were given the option to have their parcels delivered to the customer by Uber drivers. So what we did was Uber provided us with real-time tracking of where exactly the driver was, and the customer, after they ordered an item with that delivery method, they could just go back to the order status page and keep track of where their driver is and estimate how soon their package will get to them. So when a fulfillment is done with a supported carrier, the fulfillment events will be automatically captured. So from the perspective of a merchant, what it'll look like is they'll click fulfill by the shipping label, and that's all they have to do. The events will automatically come to the page as it gets updated, and will increase to all major carriers in the future. So some of you might have been to Kevin's deep dive into webhooks right now. I'm excited to introduce a new topic of webhooks that you can listen to from Shopify. So the topic is fulfillment events. So whenever an app or a carrier service creates, updates, or deletes a fulfillment event, that information gets sent to Shopify, and your app can listen to webhooks about updates and changes to fulfillment events. And there's a lot of opportunities you could take advantage of to act on that information on status updates. So next, I'd like to invite Walmer to come back up and talk to you about how to add more content to the order status page.
Good. In addition to fulfillment events and all this new cool stuff Rita mentioned, we also allow apps to provide additional content to the thank you page, the order status page, actually. The order status page is the perfect place to include additional information about an order or end services to raise the trust from customers to merchants, and to keep them up to date with the status of delivery. So with this ability, of course, apps now have some nice opportunities. The first one is to communicate with customers, informing details about the delivery or even the items they just bought, and also to offer additional actions customers can use to help them to keep up to date with the status of an order, improving the overall post-purchase experience. So to do this, as an app developer, you basically need two resources. The first one are script tags, and the second is the Checkout JavaScript API. So let's start with script tags. Script tags are already out there. I'm pretty sure like some of you already use them. Like, who knows script tags or have used an app before? Okay, so just as a recap, script tags allow apps to embed and to load remote JavaScript files into the storefront without having to touch any theme files or having any hassle with customizations. So it's a very simple yet powerful way to provide additional features on the storefront. And the good news is that we also load script tags on the order status page. So apps can include external JavaScripts on it as well. And even better, we recently extended the script tags API by including a new attribute called display scope. So with this attribute, you can specify where exactly Shopify should load the script tag. So right now, options are online store, if you want your script tags, for example, on the cart page, on the product page, on a collection, or even on the home page. And also the brand new on order status, if you want script tags scoped to the order status page. Or even if you want on both of them, you can use the all option. So once in there, using script tags and having your JavaScript loaded on the order status page, of course, you need to know exactly where you are, right? You need to know the information about the customer and about the checkout and the order. So how to do that? We make that really easy by exposing the checkout as a JSON object on the order status page. So as you can see with a simple API, Shopify.checkout, on the page, apps can read the customer information, address, order ID, shipping information, and even more. With that information, apps can go ahead and perform additional API calls. For example, using the order ID to have all the information about an order or about a line item, a product, a variant, to create the additional content exactly that is suitable for that customer and in that situation. But okay, so now we know how to exactly create the script tag and how to know the information about the order. But how exactly do you add the content on the page? Should you rely on the DOM? Should you rely on the HTML classes or IDs? Turns out you don't have to worry about that. In fact, if you see the design of the order status page, while we designed it, we came with this idea of having content boxes on the order status page. So first thing is the map, of course, with the fulfillment events, as Rita mentioned. And this map is super awesome. I mean, all merchants and customers alike, they love it. It's such a nice idea. Okay, and now I'm talking too much. And you have another box at the bottom with the customer information, the shipping address, the billing address. And you see, I'm not sure if you can see exactly, you have this new box that is added by an app. Can you see it? Is it okay? What if I do this? No, I'm just showing off. It's the peak. It shows the opening hours for a shop if a customer decided to pick up in store. So an app did that using the Checkout JavaScript API. So this is the call, the JavaScript function that created that exact box. And as you can see, you can pass multiple strings to the function, and each one will render as a separate row. And apps are not limited to only one content box. Subsequent calls to that same function will end up creating multiple boxes. So here, in addition to the opening hours box, another box was offering a discount code that this customer can use in their next purchase. So this is about customer retention. So for example, use this discount code to get free shipping on your next order. Now I wanted to show some examples of apps that are using these new APIs. The first one is digital downloads. So digital downloads is a popular app used by stores that sell digital goods, such as ebooks. This app uses the checkout JavaScript API to deliver the digital content to the customer on their status page after the checkout is completed. So the customers go ahead to purchase an ebook, completes the checkout, and when they reach the order status page, this is what they see. So there's an additional content box there showing the file they just bought with a download button. They can click and download the content right away on the other status page itself. So it's really easy, really convenient for them. The second example is even more interesting, is Telegram. So Telegram is this messaging app used by millions of people worldwide. They have client applications for iOS, Android, desktop, and on the web as well. And the Telegram app, the Telegram Shopify app, allows customers to receive fulfillment events right on Telegram. So how it works is when the merchant installs the app will create a new script tag using the script tags API. And this script tag will load a remote JavaScript on the other status page to render this box, inviting the customer to receive updates on Telegram. So when a customer that uses Telegram clicks on this link here, the app will, using, of course, the Telegram API, will start listening to the fulfillment events webhook that Rita just mentioned. This way, the app will know, for example, when an order gets fulfilled and the package is in transit or it's out for delivered, and when it's finally get delivered. So, and the customer will receive all this information with Telegram message right on an iPhone or on desktop as well. So it's really interesting how this app could integrate all the things, so fulfillment events, the JavaScript API, to provide this nice post-purchase experience. So since we launched the new order status page with fulfillment events, the integration with shipping carriers, we got some nice feedback from merchants. As I mentioned, for example, about the map, they really loved it. And also, a merchant contacted support saying, I was just looking at the thank you page, and it looks great. And other one said, the new order status page is long overdue. So the order status page is performing really well, and we want to invite everyone to try fulfillment events, listening to webhooks, and using the checkout JavaScript API as well. And what's next for us? Of course, we're constantly looking for new ways to prolong engagement with customer and respond to the enthusiasm of the new cool stuff they bought. One of them, there are some nice surprises on the way, some new things we're thinking of. We're constantly improving the other status page and thinking of new notifications customers can use, and app developers as well. So stay tuned for new features in the future. And we're really excited to see what you're going to build next with all these new resources. So to get started, I will point you out the docs for the other status page, fulfillment events, and also the JavaScript API you can use. Feel free to take a picture. I'm pretty sure the slides will be available as well. And will be available for office hours tomorrow as well. And that's it for today. Thanks a lot.